Hi there, today I'm going to talk to you about the 4 secrets to getting your team on board with where you are wanting to go in your practice. Hi, I'm Dr. Mulrooney, owner of My Business Doctor Inc., and today I'm excited to share with you the 4 secrets to getting your team on board with where you want to go. Let's get started. The first secret to getting your team on board is actually letting them know where you're going with your practice. Have you ever been in a taxi cab in a foreign country where you're sitting in the back, you've given them directions, and you're not 100% sure if they're actually going to take you where you want to go? It can cause a lot of anxiety. And the same thing happens for your team if they don't know where you are trying to take them. So make sure that you share your vision and your mission with your team and let them know exactly where you're going over the next year and over the next few years after that, so they can decide whether they're actually on board with where you're going and if they want to go along for the ride and be on your boat to get to the next destination. The second secret to getting your team on board is getting them involved in the business. A lot of the times, they really don't know how much things cost, and when you ask them to change something, they're going to give you the attitude and go, "Ugh, why is she making me do this?" Well, there's usually a reason why you're making changes, and you need to actually let them know why that is, because then again, they're informed and it's easier for them to get on board with where you're trying to drive things. The third tip to getting your team on board is getting them invested in the business. Now, I'm not asking you to have them give you money. What I'm asking you to do is involve them in a bonus program. If they have some skin in the game, that if the clinic does better, they do better financially and they will get more take-home pay, that helps to get them invested in giving more when they're at the practice and making sure that they're giving the best customer service they possibly can so that patients get on board with actually doing more of the treatment they want. You'd be shocked at what happens when they actually have skin in the game, because when there's time to actually recommend treatment or let them know about maybe there's a new procedure that you're bringing into the practice, they're going to be the first ones to talk about it, because they know that if the clinic does better, they do better, and the more that they can suggest to patients, the better off the chances are of increasing production that month. The fourth secret to getting your team on board is by actually letting them know that everything that they do is marketing. How they talk to patients when they run into them at the mall versus how they talk to them at the clinic, and how they deal with them is part of the marketing and part of how you're going to get more acceptance of cases as well as more referrals from your existing patients. The better you treat your patients, the better off things are. And if they can have cards on them when they're out at the mall and they talk to someone, it's so easy to bring into a conversation that you work in dentistry. And the minute you do that, people want to know about what you're doing because they understand what dentistry is. It's not like you have this obscure job that when you mention it, people just kind of go, okay. When you tell them you work in dentistry, they have questions. They're going to ask you, well, I have this problem. Can I ask you about that? Or I heard about this procedure. They actually are very curious about what you're doing. So if your team can remember that by actually talking about what they do and giving out cards and always marketing, that's going to help them to do better in the practice as well, which is going to help the practice to grow. So in summary, the 4 secrets to getting your team on board are as follows. Number 1, tell them where you're going. Number 2, get them involved in the business of the practice. Let them know how the operating of a practice actually works. Number 3, get them invested in the practice by offering them a bonus program. The better the practice does, the better they do, and the more money they get to take home as a result of helping to grow the practice. Number 4, remember that everything that they do is marketing. So whether they're at the practice or they're running into people outside the practice, they have an opportunity to market the practice at all times, and that will help to grow the practice and help them to be more successful in the practice as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't actually arranged a phone call with me for a strategy session where you get to talk to me for 30 minutes about how we can take your practice to the next level, you can do so right here. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, which will send you a weekly tip, a little video on stuff that you can be doing better in your practice, you can sign up for that right here. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, you can do so right here. Until next time, I wish you an amazing day, and I will see you again soon.